good friend from Georgia, former congressman, ran for the U.S. Senate, Dr. Paul Broun. Now the good doctor is the spokesperson for the Tea Party Leadership Fund. Dr. Broun, Happy New Year, Merry Christmas. Good to have you, man.
Happy New Year to you. I pray that you and all your staff have a very blessed and prosperous 2016, and pray that in the name of Jesus, and I wish you a very happy anniversary. Congratulations.
Well, thank you, Doc. I know when I first started, you were one of our mainstays. You came on whenever I asked, and you always have been fabulous to us. That's why we appreciate you so much. Let's talk a little bit about, we're going to get into politics, Dr. Broun, and then go into Congress a little bit. We're less than 3.5 weeks now from the Iowa caucuses. By the way, we're going to be there live Monday and Tuesday, February 1st and 2nd. Bang, right after that, New Hampshire, the 8th, Tuesday the 8th. Right now, what do you see?
Well, John, it's certainly been an interesting process. By the way, the Tea Party Leadership Fund has got another website besides the TeaPartyLeadershipFund.com. It's called TeaPartyPrimary.org. We encourage all our listeners to go on that website and vote for who you think are the top 3 candidates out of the whole presidential candidate pool that will help turn things around and stop this out-of-control government that both Republicans and Democrats in Washington have built. So please go on TeaPartyPrimary.org and vote for the top 3 candidates. What we do is we drop off the bottom ones, and it keeps going on through a circular process till we even wind up with 3.
All right, I like that. Tea Party, is it? I'm going to go to that right now. TeaPartyPrimary.org. TeaPartyPrimary.org. So, look, let's get to Iowa. It looks right now Ted Cruz is probably going to win. Who do you see in the top 3 there?
Well, 3 weeks is almost like an eternity in the political world. One misstep could doom a candidate. One positive thing could rise somebody out of obscurity to being soaring in the top. It's almost like baseball or football. You have a star that just suddenly makes a great play, and they're a superstar. And we may see that, or we may go down continuing the way we see in things right now. Who knows? It's going to be an interesting process. I was just the first step, and then New Hampshire, and then South Carolina, and then what we call the SEC primary, which is where Georgia is, the Southeastern Conference, best football conference in the nation. Go Dogs. But by the time we get through the SEC primaries, I think you'll see a lot of the candidates who are there now drop off, and you're going to be left with the top 2 or 3 or 4 still in the race. So it's going to be an interesting process. And the thing is, we not only have to elect a president, but we've got to elect a Congress that understands that government is supposed to be limited by the enumerated powers of the U.S. Constitution. That's what the Tea Party Leadership Fund is all about. And we have to supply money to the kind of candidates who want to take power away from the bureaucrats and the politicians in Washington, send it back to the states or the people as the 10th Amendment demands. And that's what the Tea Party Leadership Fund is all about. And I encourage people to go on our website, be a patriot, and help us fight this fight to save America by changing Congress. It's the TeaPartyLeadershipFund.com.
All right. Dr. Broun, what do you make of this, I don't know what you want to call it, federal land occupation going on in Oregon?
Well, I think it's just a reflection of people are just absolutely fed up with the federal government and this unconstitutional way it's acting. And so we're, I think, going to see more and more of the American people. And I encourage more people to say no to this out-of-control government that both parties have built. The thing is, John, even conservative Republicans are voting for Paul Ryan as an example, which just locked into place every single bad policy that Barack Obama has put in place. Now he's fixing to have a tremendous trump on our Second Amendment rights, And I don't expect Paul Ryan or anybody or Mitch McConnell to do anything about it. You see, under the Constitution, only the Congress has the authority to make law. A president doesn't have authority to make law. A federal judge, not even the Supreme Court, has authority to make law, period. It goes to the Congress. Article 1, Section 1, Sentence 1 says all legislative authority is vested in the Congress of the United States. And we've got to go back to those types of philosophies that made this country great. Both parties are destroying it. We've got to get the right kind of people elected, and we're going to have the possibility in this coming year's or this year's election. Need to change the page here, don't we? In this year's election, we've got to get the right kind of people elected to the U.S. Senate and U.S. House. We've got to supply them the funds that they need. That's what the Tea Party Leadership Fund's all about. We've got to get people activated to do the phone banking and neighborhood walks and literature drops and put out yard signs for the right kind of candidate. I encourage people to look at the vote for this omnibus bill. I call it the ominous omnibus bill. Anybody, particularly a Republican, who voted for that bill needs to be primaried. And they need to have a strong candidate running against them in the primary, and freedom-loving, liberty-loving Americans need to go and support those kind of candidates and throw these bums out of office.
Well, look, I mean, you look at the omnibus bill and the sellout and betrayal of rank-and-file grassroots Republican conservatives who elected these people.
Absolutely,
it's almost unthinkable. You couldn't have made this up. If you were doing a movie, Hollywood would have rejected the script and said it's just not believable enough. This is like Wag the Dog. I mean, think about it: $1.17 trillion bill, $700 billion in expanded debt. They expanded the debt by $700 billion, busted the budget, took the budget caps off, ended sequestration. Okay, I get that. I get some of that. Basically, Obama's got zero constraints. They spend whatever they want. They gave every single lobbyist with their wallet out payback time. Congressman, it's like they cleaned the barn and said, let's get every IOU we have and pay them all back in one fell swoop. And then let's pay for that by mortgaging the future of our children and grandchildren so we can keep the donor dollars from the globalist slave traders and the banksters coming in. I mean, this is one of the most egregious things I've ever seen. 150 Republicans signed off on it. Nancy Pelosi said the Republicans, in their thirst to just give something back to big oil, lifting the import-export ban on crude oil, which I think is a good thing. But she said, my God, they gave us everything. They gave the store away. Greatest trade in history for them. Obama did a victory dance. It's a joke.
Well, it's more than a joke. It's actually a sad commentary on the leadership in the U.S. House with Paul Ryan and then the leadership in the U.S. Senate with Mitch McConnell. A group of conservatives, I joined a group of other conservatives trying to keep Paul Ryan from ascending to the speakership because I knew he was going to be John Boehner II. You might remember 3 years ago, I did not vote for John Boehner when I was in Congress to be the speaker. Voted for Alan West, my dear friend.
Right.
We've got to have somebody that's going to stand up and say no to this president. This president is acting as if he is a dictator. And this gun control issue that he's fixing to foist on the American public is going to be disastrous. Some people say, well, what's wrong with the gun show loophole? Well, the thing is, the problem with that philosophy is that means that I cannot give a gun to my son or my grandson. Period. That's what he wants to close, is the private transfer of firearms, and it's a total trouncing upon our God-given Second Amendment rights. And we've got to have people in Congress that are going to stand up to this president and stand up to the next president, whoever it might be, no matter who is elected, particularly if it's Hillary Clinton, God forbid. But we've got to have a Congress that is going to say no to a president, is going to take their powers back.
They're not going to do that. Look, Congressman, it's going to be the same story. He's going to make the speech tonight, but it is. I mean, they're going to make the speech.
It doesn't have to be.
So what are we going to do? What are we going to do?
People.
It's going to be the same thing. These people get on my show, they say one thing, and then they go there, they do something else. I mean, people just, it's like, I was saying this earlier, it's like the Peanuts cartoon, Charlie Brown kicking the football, Lucy lifts it up, he falls on his butt, and he keeps coming back, and the same thing happens. You keep going on the same path, you end up in the same place. At the end of the day, Obama's going to make this speech tonight. He's got to fund all this stuff. Right? He's got to fund the background checks. He wants to add 200 ATF agents, 230 FBI agents. He has to fund all this stuff. It's got to be funded through Congress. Ryan is going to fund it. At the end of the day, he's going to win again. The guy's batting 1,000. The Republicans haven't defeated him on anything. Why are they all of a sudden going to stand up now?
Well, the only way is going to make them stand up is if we primary these folks who are continuing down this road of big government, down the road of destruction of this country, and the American people need to stand up and say no. The thing is, John, the most powerful political force in America today is embodied in the first three words of the U.S. Constitution, we the people. And that's what I appreciate about what you're doing. You're getting people in your listening area knowledgeable so that they can start saying, we're not going to put up with this garbage anymore. This is BS. We're not going to do it anymore. We're going to elect the right kind of people. We're going to throw these bums out. And it's time to do that. It's time to primary every Republican who votes for bigger and bigger government. And we've got to get the right kind of candidate to run, and that's what the Tea Party Leadership Fund's all about. That's the reason that hopefully your listeners will go on the TeaPartyLeadershipFund.com and help us to be able to do the independent expenditures and coordinated types of events with the right kind of candidates and contribute money directly to the right kind of candidates so that we can have a total change. I know you're frustrated. I am too. You and I have had this discussion several times on your program. We've got to change it, or else we're going to head to a financial collapse of this nation, and I'm going to do everything I can to fight going down this same road that Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell are taking us.
Well, I'd say this. I got an email from Kay somebody running against Renee Almers in North Carolina.
Right.
Now, I've had Renee, she's an RN. I've had her on my show numerous times. Like a lot of these people, I really like Renee Almers, but I'm done. I mean,
she's a disaster.
I sent $99, so it doesn't show up. I sent $99 over the weekend to whoever her challenger is. I don't even know who it is. Kay somebody. I don't care. I don't want it to show up on a thing. I sent her $99. I'm done. I mean, I really like Renee Almers, but my country is circling the drain, and these people do nothing but collaborate with Obama. What's the point of having them?
Well, I know Renee. She was elected when I was in Congress, and she's a nice lady, but
really
she's
nice
a disaster.
Lady.
She's a disaster. The thing is, we've got to stop electing people on personality or gender or those types of issues, or even pigment of the skin. We've got to start electing people on the policies and principles that they're going to stand firm on, instead of voting for people on their personality. Renee Almers is a nice lady, but she's a disaster. She's going to lead us to a total economic collapse of this nation. But you've got other people all over this country just like her who claim to be conservative Republicans that are not. They vote for Paul Ryan. They vote for this ominous omnibus bill. They vote for bigger and bigger government and more spending, and it's just got to stop. And the only way we're going to stop it, John, is not throwing our hands up in there and say it's not going to change. We've got to change it. We, the people, can change it. If we've got to have a revolution at the ballot box, and this year is absolutely critical, not only for who we elect as president, but who we elect to be your U.S. senator, to who we elect to be your U.S. congressman. And we've got to throw all these folks like Renee Almers out of office and elect somebody who's going to stand firm on the Constitution, who's going to stand firm and say, this is not a proper function of the federal government. This policy belongs with the states or the people, as the 10th Amendment demands, and I'm not going to vote for this yo-yo, this knucklehead, this whatever. I can get worse and worse as we go, but these people who are going to destroy our economy and are already destroying our economy, who are going to destroy our military, who already are in that process, who are going to destroy the value of the dollar, who's going to lead us to an economic collapse of this nation, we can stop it, and we must. That's what the TeaPartyLeadershipFund.com is all about.
TeaPartyLeadershipFund.com. Dr. Brown, we got to do something. So let's go to TeaPartyLeadershipFund.com. You guys will figure it out. Dr. Paul Broun, former Congressman, Georgia, ran for U.S. Senate, got beat by David Perdue. He'll be back. Dr. Brown, great to have you. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. Keep the faith, man.
God bless you. John Fredericks, you're the best.
All right, Dr. Brown.